the soul guidebook to find to learn out how to heal, how to apply these laws to given situations. And it's not for just anybody. It's not just for a group of people. It's for everybody. It's intended for everybody. And you don't have to be a Christian Scientist to read the Christian Science textbook, learn how to apply these laws, like you don't have to be a Baptist to study the Bible, because we all study the Bible. The Bible is a source. It's Mrs. Eddie's source book. It's our source book. And Christ Jesus, we're taught that Christ Jesus is our way shore. Christian Science describes Jesus as the way shore. Sure, it accepts the essentials of Christianity as found in the scriptural record of the life and teachings of Christ Jesus. And it restores an emphasis on the import of practicing what he taught. And that includes healing, sickness, and sin. The Christ power that Jesus expressed is always available to bring freedom from every kind of lack and limitation. And in Christian Science, there's no mystery about Christ. The Christ, as understood in Christian Science, is the true idea of God, or, as Mrs. Eddy writes in the textbook, Science and Health, is the divine manifestation of God. In fact, the divine manifestation of God. And Christ reveals to human consciousness what is true of man, what is true of you and me, and of our relationship to God. Now, you cannot see this Christ truth by the material evidence, by the physical senses, but it is made evident through human thought, through the life and work of Christ Jesus.
Do the Christian Scientists, do you just use the New Testament with the textbook, or do you use the entire Bible with the textbook?
Robert Massa, good question. No, we use the whole Bible. But Massa, the Gospels, Jesus explains the whole Bible. So we use the whole Bible, from Genesis to Revelation. Thank you for asking that.
Now, just for those just tuning in, I want them to know who you are and the fact that you're coming to Ocala. Betty Jean O'Neill is on the phone. She's an inspirational speaker, a practitioner of Christian Science healing, and she's got a program at the Appleton Museum on Saturday. It'll be at 2 o'clock. It's called Prayer That Heals, Protects, and Restores, and she'll be referencing the original source book on Christian healing, the Bible, along with Science and Health with Key to the Scriptures by Mary Baker Eddy, as she just mentioned. Again, that's going to be this Saturday, April 13th, 2 o'clock in the afternoon at the Appleton Museum of Art here in Ocala. I believe it's a free event. Am I right?
It's free for everybody. It'll be about 50 minutes long, and I'll give other examples, but I wanted people to know about what I think that people would be interested to know about the bullying situation.
Now, my introduction to you, Betty Jean, was regarding hope. I think that my faith in God, I don't understand much about it, but it's kind of like telling you I understand how Michelangelo, carved the statue of David. Okay, but the point is that there is hope, and my connection to I guess to humbly ask for help is prayer. And quite often I feel like I don't want to say anything other than thank you. That's part of what I've made as part of my little ritual. Do you think? What are your thoughts on thanking God in prayer, as opposed to asking for this, protection for that, help for this? What do
Mary,
Yes.
Each day I start my day out by thanking God for a brand new day, for an opportunity to find out more about Him, for an opportunity to express Him, for an opportunity to overcome the challenges in my life, and others, for opportunity to be available to people to help them. Praising God, thanking God for every little thing. I love when I walk along the beach here. I live close to the ocean, really to the Atlantic Ocean, about 2 blocks down. I walk on the beach many times, and almost every day I cannot say that. Not every day, but every day I can. And I just look at nature, and I thank God for being here, for knowing that He loves me, and that He loves everybody, and that He's available. His love, because God is infinite spirit, love, God, spirit, is available to everyone. In fact, it's available to those who don't even know and think that God exists, because God does exist for us. And yes, gratitude gratitude is wonderful.
When you come to Ocala, will the audience be able to interact with you as far as questions or not?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
So people are invited to come up and ask their questions. I invite people to come up to ask the questions after the lecture, because after the talk, we like to say talk, because that way they're more private. They don't really want to, some people don't want to ask questions in the groups because they don't want people to know what their concerns are.
Right.
But I'm available for them to ask questions, yes.
You know, it's an interesting thing, the issue of science and religion. Quite often in the context of a talk show, we'll have confrontations with people, listeners, who want to debate us. And if they don't believe in God, then they often will say something to me, well, what do you actually believe, science or religion? And I don't understand why I couldn't believe in both. I saw this thing on Einstein the other day, and I know we're going on a little bit of a tangent here, but Einstein obviously believed in God, or apparently, I should say. Einstein apparently believed in God.
I think he did.
Yeah, and so when we talk about the science part of this, I think it confuses some people, and then there's the other issue of confusing it with Scientology. It's two totally different things, right?
Well, let me answer this question. I think Robin has a question too, but let me answer. I think you might understand this a little bit better. I said, people ask me what is Christian Science, and Mary Baker Eddy, the discoverer and founder of Christian Science, defines Christian Science this way in the Christian Science textbook: as the law of God, the law of good, interpreting and demonstrating the divine principle and rule of universal harmony. Christian Science actually operates in our lives to show forth the infinite power of God, the universal law of harmony, and it explains how we may apply this law to harmonize and adjust discordant situations of every kind, and that's what makes it science. We've shown how to apply this law to. Was that important to you? Let me see, what's the word? Analytical. Are you an analytical person? If you're saying that, I like to ponder and understand what I'm and probe it. Yeah, I do. That's what Christian Science shows you, how to not only read, study, and pray with ideas found in the Bible and the Christian Science textbook, but enables one to progressively become an effective spiritual healer. It doesn't, it just doesn't leave you there. You have challenges like other people have challenges. But I ponder these laws. What do I need to understand better, I say? What is here for me to know that I need to know? And as I do this, I get an understanding that I apply this science to, and it transforms my thinking to view God, man, and the universe more spiritually. Jesus. This science just empowers us to prove God's love for ourselves and others. That's what it does. Jesus seemed to have expressed an appreciation, I guess is a word I'd use there, for people who have the faith of a child. He seemed to understand or appreciate if we just had faith without asking questions. But the nature of the way we were built and created by God is that we are going to ask questions. So sometimes it's hard to have the faith of a child. Sometimes it's hard to not ask questions. That's why I like the idea that there are answers that make sense and don't steer us away from the faith that we might have had as a child. I like that. The childlike thought, is pure and is compassionate. It is full of unconditional love, which heals. And if we can get our thoughts that way, which I endeavor to do that. I'm not saying I always do it, but I try to keep my thoughts childlike, because it is compassionate, it is receptive, and it's inquisitive. Isn't that wonderful if you have children in your life, they ask you all these questions? So why are you asking questions? Well, it's because you want to know the answer, right? That's exactly right, yeah.
And a prayer is the ultimate in any kind of situation, but God and Jesus have given talents to everybody on the face of this planet, whether they're social workers, they're doctors, they're mental health counselors, and you recognize that as such, that even though people do have to pray and need that spiritual guidance in their life, they need to seek out the people that are sort of like the arm of God that can help them.
Well, Christian Science practitioners are available to people. There are people who help people find solutions to problems through prayer. That's those are the people that when you have a problem you can solve. Christian Science practitioners spend their full time praying for people and applying their metaphysical understanding of God and as found in the Bible, in the Christian Science textbook, to given situations, and they're available to the public, and they do charge a fee for their service. They're available to help them overcome their challenges when they can't, do it go it alone. So that's what we look to God. We have Christian Science practitioners and teachers available to everyone.
Nice.
And they're not exclusively for Christian Science. They're for everyone. In fact, I know that because I'm a Christian Science practitioner.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's an honor to have you on with us this morning. I know you're going to enjoy your visit to Ocala. Betty Jean O'Neill calling in from Massachusetts right now. She's coming to Ocala on Saturday, or at least that's when you can go see her. When are you flying in?
I'm flying in tomorrow, actually.
Tomorrow, okay. But on Saturday, we all get to meet her. She'll be at the Appleton Museum of Art at 2 p.m. Explore how the power of God operates in our lives. She's a nationally renowned speaker, Betty Jean O'Neill, a practitioner of Christian Science healing, and she's going to tell you how to explore the power of God. And here, this is the part that would get me through the door. Examples of how people you can tell us about that have actually used the healing system, and like yourself, you saved children, teenagers from bullies, how to find companionship, physical healing, some of the most, hard to believe that could be healed things have been healed. So that's always good to hear those examples.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Betty. I know that it was a little bit of an inconvenience for you to be on the air with us today. We appreciate the fact that you took some time to do this. And have a great trip down to Florida, and I'm looking forward to meeting you on Saturday.
Thanks, Robin, and thanks, Larry.
You're welcome. We'll take a little break, and we'll be right back.
You've got a garden, and we've got a show for you called You've Got a Garden with your host, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Carol Ann answers your questions about your flowers, your veggies, your grass, your trees, even questions about your bugs. And she's only on WOCA, so don't miss Carol Ann Baldwin and You've Got a Garden each Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WOCA The Source.
Howdy. I want to invite you to Dairy Queen for a great deal and a great meal. Right now, Dairy Queen is offering a hot, juicy quarter-pound cheeseburger meal, including the quarter pounder with cheese, a fry, and a medium drink for only $4.99. And you can add a sundae for only $1. So if you love real grill-cooked burgers cooked fresh to order, come get a great meal for only $4.99 at Dairy Queen Silver Springs, where they always treat you like kings and queens.
This is a public notice. Local residents can now save thousands of dollars on their next car, truck, or SUV. It's not a tent sale, because no tent is big enough to hold this many cars. It's OcalaForSale.com. Say goodbye to sticker shock. OcalaForSale.com has thousands of vehicles with no stickers at all. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to OcalaForSale.com. Prices